Donna and Peggy, I've sent you a request to promote yourself to panelist. If you could do that, that would be great. Thank you.
It is 9:31 here in the boardroom. It is today, Tuesday, July 21st. This is the regular open meeting of the Third Laguna Hills Mutual Board of Directors, a California nonprofit mutual benefit corporation. We have 2 people on Zoom. Therefore, we have a quorum, and we can move forward with the meeting. I would ask Director Fox if he would lead us in the pledge.
You can ask.
Okay,
Everybody, hands over heart. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, approval of the agenda. Before we go ahead and formally approve that, I would like to make an adjustment to the agenda. Under 11B, entertain a motion to discuss and vote for the following qualified candidates. Instead of taking them all as a single vote, I'd like to move that we separate them out and do 4 individual votes. That way, the individuals who are currently on the board have the option of abstaining from voting on themselves. All right, with that, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Karimi
with
moves.
the changes.
Can I get a second? I see Director Johnson is a second. All righty. Other than that, the agenda is approved. I would now ask for approval of the minutes from May, all of them it's in one swoop. May 18th, June 1st, June 8th, June 16th, and July 2nd. Many of those minutes are from budget meetings chaired by Director Fox. So can I get a motion to approve all of those minutes, please?
I make a motion.
Director Fox moves. Can I get a second? I get Director Johnson as second. Are there any corrections to any of those minutes? Hearing none, can I will assume then it's approved. Hearing no adjustments. Yeah. Okay. I was forgetting. Report of the chair. The only thing I'd like to say to everybody is that we have an open vacancy on the board as a result of Director Park moving from Third Mutual to GRF. We have had this vacancy open now for a while. We are still able to receive applications to fill that slot. You have to apply by next Monday. So we would appreciate it if there's anybody interested, and it would be done by a vote of the board. So if you have any interest in it, please either contact one of the corporate secretaries, to find out more about it, or if you can talk to some of the other board members here to see what's involved, we would appreciate your interest. Other than that, we'll go to open forum.
Report of the chair.
That was the report of the chair.
Oh, that was it? Okay. Sorry. Pardon me.
We'll go to the open forum. Do we have speakers?
Yes, we have 2 in-person speakers. The first one is Chris Collins.
Okay. Trying to get the security officer. You can go, ma'am. Thank you.
I'm Chris Collins, 3306Q, and I'm here to give you an update on the work of the foundation that we do on behalf of residents who are experiencing temporary financial crisis. In this case, this is not about financial crisis. This is about fun. Good neighbors, they make life better every single day. Once again, the foundation of Laguna Woods Village is sponsoring a village-wide initiative to bring residents together. Since the pandemic, we've been working on ways to help residents come out of their homes and reconnect with their neighbors. To that end, we've invited the recreation-sponsored clubs of Laguna Woods to be our partners in this project. We asked clubs to submit their creative ideas, so please be on the alert for the announcement coming soon in the Globe with the specifics on lots of exciting activities. All Good Neighbor Project activities will take place here in the village, starting in September and going through December 2026. And you may be wondering about our reason for sponsoring Good Neighbor activities. Well, we all know that a wave, a chat, picking up groceries, a shared meal, or a block party can lift spirits and encourage fun and connection. Sometimes it's small, sometimes it's organized, but it's always does matter. In a way where connection, in a world where connection can often mean a click or a comment, real face-to-face moments matter more than ever. So that's why the foundation is bringing back the Good Neighbor Project. And this is for the 3rd year, and it's just in time for Good Neighbor Month, which starts in September. We're inviting village clubs to dream a little and do a lot. What might that look like? Well, a get-together with your neighbors, a cul-de-sac concert, a simple lunch or dinner potluck hosted by neighbors, a community sing-along, a conversation bench, or a walking buddy group. The goal is simple. Reach out to residents who may feel less connected and bring them in. Neighbors can be any village residents, not just those who live near you. Once again, please be watching for the official announcement of the Good Neighbor Projects coming soon to the village. So if you have any questions, you can send us an email, foundationlwv@gmail.com or 949-268-2246. So let's make this year's effort the very best, because when neighbors show up for each other, the whole village shines. Thank you.
Thank you.
Final open forum speaker is Catherine Bryans. She stated she will not be able to speak.
Okay. Then I will say comments to Chris Collins. Chris, again, thank you very much for the work of the foundation. You guys do absolutely fabulous work here in the village in support of our members. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Anybody else comments? If not, we will then go to the CEO report.
Thank you, President Muchnick, members of the board, and our audience. I want to begin by sharing an update from a recent meeting among city animal services and board leadership. And that is that our animal services provider believes that eliminating food sources is the most effective way to reduce our coyote population. This includes feeding birds, squirrels, rabbits, and all these attract coyotes into the residential areas. They suggest that residents remove attractants such as birdseed, fallen fruit, pet food, and outdoor water bowls and food scraps. And to note, feeding wildlife is prohibited by the Laguna Woods Municipal Code. Violations may result in fines of $100 for a first offense, $200 for a second offense, and $500 for subsequent offenses within 1 year. They ask that you please report illegal wildlife feeding by calling the city at 949-639-0522 or emailing code@lagunawoods.gov. I also wanted to share an update about a service enhancement to Commercial Route 3. This is also known as the Arbor Route. There is a new 30-minute loop that reduces travel time between Clubhouse 1 and the Arbor from approximately 60 minutes to 30 minutes. The first departure is at 9:30 a.m. from Clubhouse 1, and the last departure is 4 p.m., returning by 4:30 p.m. for home route transfers. This route runs Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and it makes regular stops at Sprouts, Ralph's, Island Pacific Market, and by request, Smart and Final, Home Depot, and Wells Fargo. For more information, you can contact transportation at 949-597-4659. There will be a Social Security benefits overview on Wednesday, July 29th at 10 a.m. in the Clubhouse 7 main lounge. Presentation topics include retirement, Medicare, and survivor benefits, when and how to apply, my Social Security online services, and a live question and answer session. The presenter is Jennifer Miranda from the Social Security Administration, and no registration is required. Changing gears, the Ting and DirecTV transition continues. Key deadlines for residents are November 30th, the current cable television service ends, and on December 31st, the West Coast internet service ends. Fiber installation is required to receive village-provided internet and television services. We encourage residents to check their contact information with resident services to make sure that Ting can reach you when your scheduled dates are for installation of both services. And in terms of DirecTV rollout, residents in gates 2, 3, and 4 received an email invitation to a customer education session that was held last week before the service launched. More than 800 residents attended this rollout session and got some great information about DirecTV. And then these sessions will be repeated as each phase of the installation comes on, closer to coming online. And then also the DirecTV Information Hub is live with all sorts of information about DirecTV and support. And that site is available at the address shown on the screen on the bottom bullet. I also wanted to take this opportunity to remind residents of no-cost disposal options available to them. Bulky item collection is available from CR&R. And for this, residents should place their items in the location they place their trash between 7 p.m. the night before collection day and 8 a.m. on collection day. Materials accepted include furniture, electronic waste, home appliances, mattresses, and more. There's a flyer available in multiple languages on the city's website. The free collection of household hazardous waste is also available from WM Curbside, a city contractor. To schedule, please call 800-449-7587. They accept materials such as household cleaners, automotive products, paints, batteries, and sharps waste. Again, please refer to the multi-language flyer available on the city's website for more information. Household hazardous waste drop-off is also an option. You can dispose of HHW items for free at any of the county's 4 household hazardous waste collection centers. The closest location is the Irvine Collection Center located at 6411 Oak Canyon, and it's open from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday. This facility accepts household products that contain corrosive, toxic, ignitable, or reactive ingredients such as paints, cleaners, oils, batteries, smoke detectors, and pesticides. State law prohibits the disposal of home-generated sharps, waste in trash and recycling containers. However, residents may drop off needles, lancets, and other sharps waste at City Hall during regular business hours. Place the sharps in a rigid and needle puncture resistant container for drop-off. There is a flyer available on the city's website for more information. In terms of personal medication disposal, drug manufacturers and distributors are required to offer programs to dispose of unwanted personal medication. To find a location that accepts personal medication for disposal, please visit med-project.org. And lastly, the city offers free shredding drop-off service. To schedule an appointment to drop off personal documents at City Hall for free shredding, please visit cityoflagunawoods.org and click on the blue Arrange Document Shredding button, or call City Hall at 949-639-0500. And that concludes my update this morning. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. We now move on to the consent calendar, item 9 on the agenda. We take all the items on the consent calendar as a single motion. Can I get a motion to approve the consent calendar?
I'll make,
Johnson moves.
I'll second.
Karimi will second. All right. All in favor of the consent calendar as presented, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. Noes and abstentions? Hearing none. Consent calendar as presented is approved. We now move on to unfinished business. Item number 10, entertain a motion to approve the manor water shutoff valve policy for multi-manor buildings. This was originally on notification in June for 28 days, and it has now come up for final approval. I would ask that the secretary, Ms. Johnson, please read the motion.
Resolution 0326XX, Manor Water Shutoff Valve Policy for Multi-Manor Buildings. Whereas the Third Laguna Hills Mutual recognizes the need to amend policies and create new policies as necessary. And whereas members doing remodels in their manors in multi-manor buildings often need to shut off the water supply to their manor, and subsequently this shuts off water supply to the rest of the manors in the building. Whereas if the water is shut off for an extended period of time, not only does this become a significant inconvenience to the balance of manor owners, but it may also create health and safety concerns. Now therefore it be resolved, July 21, 2026, the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby adopts the manor water shut-off valve policy for multi-manor buildings as attached to the official meeting minutes. And resolve further, installation of an individual manor water shut-off valve will be required when a full remodel mutual consent is applied for. And resolve further, installation of an individual manor water shut-off valve can also be requested as a standalone project through the mutual consent process. And resolve further that while the member is responsible for all costs and ongoing maintenance of a water shut-off valve, the mutual remains responsible for all unaltered internal plumbing components before and after the water shut-off valve connection. And resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out this resolution.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to put this resolution on the floor, please?
I'll make a motion.
Director Creamy moves. Can I get a second, please?
Sure.
Director Fox seconds. All right, open for discussion. First, we'll take board members' discussion. Is there anybody from staff here who's available to address questions? All right. Director Grimshaw, in case we need you. Anybody questions or comments on this policy? Any questions or comments from members in the audience? Hearing none, we have the motion on the floor. Can I get people to vote on this motion, and we can do it on the screen?
Yes.
Okay, and you'll get the 3 members who are on Zoom, right?
Yes, I will.
Okay,
Okay, Donna, Peggy, and Craig, can you guys provide your votes? Okay, Donna's voting yes. Craig is voting yes. Peggy, can I get your vote?
Yes.
Thank you.
okay. We have 8 yeses, no nos, no abstentions. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. All right, we move now on to new business. First item is Zone Zero Defensible Space presentation. Director Wyman.
Good morning.
Good morning.
For those of you who don't know what Zone Zero is, in brief, there are several zones outside residences that have been law for many years, and they only applied to new development. So Zone Zero is the first 5 feet from a house, Zone 1 is the next 30 feet, and Zone 2 is the next 50 feet, and so on. And it all describes how landscaping is to be planted and maintained. Those requirements only were applicable to new development. They were never applicable to existing development until last year. Last year in January, following the fires up in LA, the governor issued a proclamation, executive order, creating Zone Zero applicable to existing residences. And the goal behind that is to reduce the risk of wildfire from ember cast, which is if anybody who's seen the videos of the fires, you saw the embers blowing down the street. They collect at the bottom of buildings, and that's where the research has shown a lot of the buildings fires start. So before I do a brief slideshow, we have a little film for you to watch that's been produced by the CAL FIRE and the Board of Forestry.
Thank you.
California is in a wildfire crisis, and its leaders, legislators, and the governor have stepped up and responded accordingly to protect homes, lives, and communities. It's clear that business as usual is not working, and all of us feel the extreme impacts of catastrophic wildfire. In recent years, the legislature and Governor Newsom launched a series of actions and investments to confront this reality head-on. New laws, an emergency proclamation, an executive order, from investments in prevention and protection to propelling wildfire resilience projects to giving communities the tools to be ready. A critical part of these historic actions is the governor's and legislators' direction to the California Board of Forestry and Fire Protection to strengthen defensible space standards for Californians in wildfire-prone areas. The focus here is on what's called Zone Zero, or the first 5 feet around your home. So why this area? Because research, fire science, and experience shows that this is the most critical area for protecting your home, your neighbors' homes, and the community around you. It's where wind-blown embers are most likely to land and where homes are vulnerable to ignition. To tackle this, starting last year, a Board of Forestry and Fire Protection subcommittee and communities across the state have held more than a dozen public workshops and attended numerous community meetings, town halls, and neighborhood walking tours. The subcommittee listened to and read thousands of public comments and then introduced 4 different approaches to regulating Zone Zero for discussion and fine-tuning in October 2025. Through this process, we've listened to you, along with scientists, fire professionals, and community members, to consolidate this far-reaching feedback and these 4 approaches into a single option for the board's Zone Zero subcommittee's consideration. This includes proposing a set of standards and requirements for what a Zone Zero regulation includes and looks like. As we release the latest rule draft this month, here are the details. The new Zone Zero regulation applies to homes in what are classified as high fire hazard severity zones across the state. For new construction, these rules would take effect immediately. For existing homes, there's a 3-year phase-in period of education and support to give homeowners time to adapt. So more specifically, what does this mean for you and your neighbor's property? First, this version of Zone Zero regulations is designed to protect the most flammable parts of structures, such as vents, eaves, windows, and the base of walls. It will involve keeping the area closest to your home clear of combustible materials. That includes flammable things like mulch, fallen leaves, wood piles, and debris, especially on roofs and in gutters. All things many people already do. Next, you would create a minimum of 1-foot buffer zones with no combustible material, including vegetation or other materials. Think of it as a smaller safety zone directly around your home, free from fire hazards. We've heard feedback requesting that we integrate Zone Zero with the built environment, and this does just that by addressing one of the easiest and most effective actions anyone can do for their home. Not allowing an environment where embers accumulate at the base of the wall and then ignite, trap heat, or elevate upward into eaves, vents, or ultimately your home. This also gives the homeowner more discretion because it responds to the actual design of the house. More specifically, this includes the area within 1 foot of your home or out to the edge of your roof line or eave. 1 foot is the minimum requirement, but if your eaves are larger, then it would apply to the full size of your eaves, extending to their endpoint. It also includes areas within 2 feet of windows, doors, and vents, and within 5 feet of attached decks or stairs. These buffers are designed to protect the most vulnerable parts of your home because the focus here is on the flammability of your structure and the actions you can take to safeguard these areas and your home. But not everything has to be removed. Far from it. Trees are allowed, but the regulation under consideration requires that they be maintained. This means trimming lower branches closest to the ground to reduce fire spread, or what we call ladder fuels. This also means branches must be kept 5 feet away from the top of roofs and 10 feet from chimneys, which is also an existing statutory requirement. And old dead limbs and branches must be removed. Some non-woody plants are also allowed within Zone Zero under the proposal, as long as they're smaller, well-spaced, and well-maintained, like flowers, succulents, ground covers, grass, and potted plants in non-combustible containers. Grass and lawns would also be permitted up to the safety zone, but again, no vegetation or combustible materials are allowed in the safety zone under your eaves. For structures like fences and sheds, this proposed Zone 0 approach would also require no combustible materials, including sheds made from combustible materials, within 5 feet of your home. This also means incorporating a metal gate or fence panel where the fence connects to the house. This could also include using non-combustible fencing, such as metal or concrete, for a 5-foot span where fences connect to a structure. No new combustible fences or sheds are allowed in the Zone 0 area, and no changes to fence requirements have been made outside of Zone 0. Lastly, we understand communities are different. There is flexibility for local communities to make decisions based on what works best for them. Please keep in mind that inspections will also be conducted by your local fire professionals who understand your vegetation types and the condition of your trees. This provides local flexibility and discretion. Local fire agencies may also allow some flexibility based on local conditions, as long as safety is maintained and the local community can show that their actions will have the same safety impact as these statewide rules. And most importantly, these rules would be phased in with a focus on education and progress, not penalties. Inspectors throughout the state want to work with you on a reasonable and sensible plan for your home, one that is both affordable and keeps your neighbors safe from wildfire. Zone 0 is about giving your home, your neighborhood, and your community a fighting chance to survive a wildfire is a critical part of a prepared community. This video has been produced to help interpret rule text that we know can be difficult to read and to help provide clear guidance on how to make small changes over time. Even slight changes around your home can make a big difference. Learn more about the details of what's included in this draft regulation, get involved, and help shape the final rules. Because wildfire safety, prevention, and protection is everyone's responsibility.
Well, that was fun.
California is in.
So I don't often praise governmental agencies, but they did a really good job with this one. The first drafts that they said that, as you saw in the movie, they had many meetings. They said over a dozen. It's been more like 16 meetings that they've had throughout the state, community meetings, where they took in feedback. The original measures were very draconian. They were talking nothing within 5 feet. And it's great that they've got to where they are now, especially for us here. As it mentioned in the video, that there is some flexibility about what the 5 foot would look like. I've talked with Orange County Fire Authority. They're the ones that gives the flexibility. They're not willing to make any decisions on that yet until the draft is law. So the legislature last October passed a resolution stating that when the Board of Forestry votes for these rules, they become law immediately, so it doesn't have to go back to legislation. So we expect the Board of Forestry to vote on these in August. So it's in the end of August, the third week of August. So I have a little slideshow to kind of give you an idea of what we're planning on doing moving forward with this. So as it mentioned, it's the area directly around the building. It's the 5 feet. What we're going to focus on, can you go to the next slide? Is the non-combustible safety zone, because that is solid. That's not going to change. And as the film said, that's 1 foot around the building or the length of the eaves, depending on the structure. So we're going to start doing that next week to start working on the safety of your community. So we're going to be able to do that with our in-house staff. We're going to start within our in-house staff and see how much progress we can make. We have 5 years to accomplish it, so there's no rush to bring a contractor in at this moment. We think we can save you some money by doing it with in-house. So that's our initial plan. Next slide, please. So the next one is the low combustible zone. That's the 5 feet. That's the part that there's the flexibility in. The rules that they have now are somewhat vague, and I think that's intentional, because it gives the local responsible authority, which is the city, and the city defers to Orange County Fire Authority to make those decisions. So we're going to wait on those 5 feet until, one, we get definitive rules. Two, we're going to bring landscape architects on board to design those to meet the standards and make sure that you still have attractive landscaping around your homes. Next slide, please. So this is a visual example of what we're going to be aiming for. So the two things is the non-combustible zone. You see it here, whether it's 1 feet if there's no eaves, or the width of the eave, depending on what that is. So our intention is to go through and remove all plant material and combustible material such as mulch, et cetera, and maintain it that way until we get the landscape designs. And we expect to, down the road, put in weed barriers and rock or DG, something attractive more than just dirt. But we're going to integrate that with the landscaping in the 5 feet. But our first priority is to make your home safe and get rid of everything within that non-combustibility zone. I have an RFP just about ready to go to do the trees. So the trees are required to be maintained 5 feet from the building. Our plan is to trim them 6 feet, so by the time we come around and trim them again, they're still only 5 feet. So we also will be trimming them. They have to be well maintained. So instead of just trimming the trees away from the homes, we're going to trim the whole tree as we go through and remove the dead branches and save you money on your tree trimming. So we're going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. The city has offered us a grant to help us pay for this. Exactly how much that grant is still to be determined, but it's approximately $500,000. So that's going to give us our head start on this work. We'll use some of that money for the landscape architect, and the rest of the money we intend to use for the trees. Next slide. So in third, the red, it talked about the very high fire hazard zone. There's 4 different types of hazard zones, but the only one that applies to zone 0 is the very high, and that's what's shown here on your screen. It's pretty much the western half or third of third. It incorporates 545 structures. You can see the table there for yourself, which 1,315 manors, 42 carports. We still have yet to determine if a carport is considered a structure. Generally, under these rules, it's an occupied structure that is affected, but that'll be a call from Orange County Fire Authority, and we're still waiting for that answer on that. There's a couple of other clubhouses in there, and there's a gate in there. There's 2 gates in there, so we'll be working with GRF to take care of those. Next slide. Any questions on any of this?
Board members, questions?
If you go back to the last slide, please.
Go back to the last slide.
Okay, is the total manors that are included in this 1,315, that means about 20% of our units in thirds in the zone 0, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay,
And this is an approximate number given to us by the city.
okay. And you said gate 11 emergency gate, is that what EMG is, emergency gate? What?
That's within the emergency gate. It's on the back side of gate 11. It's only open for emergency.
Okay, so you're talking about that
Yeah.
gate in the
Santa
back.
Vittoria.
Oh, okay. All right, and the estimate per unit, do you have any, kind of, guesstimation of what we're talking about taking care of this?
Not yet. We're going to, like I said, we're going to start next week seeing how much we can get done with in-house staff, and then we'll be able to give you an estimate on what that cost will be. We're hoping to keep that cost within your current budget.
That would be great.
That's our goal. We'll see if we can accomplish it, but that's our goal.
Director Hopkins?
Yeah, you mentioned the city has a grant that they may be able to provide. Are there any state or county grants? It seems that this is a state-imposed mandate.
There are some state grants, but they're all aimed at wooded areas, the highly wooded areas, like the ones that started all this with Paradise Most of those are for that, for the forestry areas, to thin out the forest, etc.
So given what they have put forward, and I know it doesn't pertain to us, but what about individual homes that may be in Zone 0? Do they bear the cost themselves?
Yes.
Anything else? Director Cox?
So, Zone 0 is this red area, or Zone 0 is that 1 foot or 2.5 feet around each house?
Both. So it's 1 foot around each house that's in that red area.
So if there's a house that's in the blue or the green or whatever, they don't count for the 1 foot or 2 feet?
That is correct.
Okay.
All right, anybody? Director Johnson?
Yes. In this drawing, what is the red with no homes?
That's the Conservancy.
So when they developed these maps were developed by CAL FIRE. They're done within the city jurisdiction. So this is all that's in Laguna Woods that's in it. So apparently the tax maps show that being under City of Laguna Woods jurisdiction.
But it's part of the Conservancy, right?
Yes.
So they
It's
need
outside the gate.
Right, that's what I
outside the
thought.
walls.
So they need to clear that as well?
There's no structures out there. Zone 0 only
Okay.
applies to structures.
Okay.
And we're already doing that project out there where we're
100 feet.
doing 100 feet.
Director Cleary?
Just out of curiosity, is there a difference between the single-story, two-story, or three-story buildings in this
No.
scenario, or is all treated the same
No.
way?
Yeah, they're all considered structures. So.
Okay, and the trees that, we're going to be trimming on three-story building is different than one-story building?
It's the
or-
same, as there can't be
They're all
any
gonna be the
branches,
same?
can't be any branches basically within 5 feet. Whether it's the side of the tree or over the roof, they can't be within 5 feet. If the tree trunk itself is in 5 feet,
Yeah.
that's okay. That doesn't have to go, it's just everything on the building side.
So the canopy is to be,
Yeah. So we'll be making those calls. If we come across a tree that's going to end up looking like a giant lollipop, we'll make those calls as we go through.
Okay, other board members? I have one question for you, sir. In listening to the film and listening to your presentation, if we're talking the 1 foot or the two, whatever the eve distance is, and then we have to go from there out to the 5 foot, it appears that we can put grass
Correct.
in the rest of that area, which we just have to mow it and things of that nature. Does that make more sense than doing other kinds of things?
It is probably the least expensive option. We would have to redo all of the irrigation around there.
Right.
Because they're on different valves. But then it becomes a
Maintenance.
curb appeal kind of thing. Do you want all your buildings with just grass going up to them? Or would you like something more attractive? So we can cross that bridge when we get there, when the rules for that 5 feet, the remainder of that feet are clearer. I'll put together some proposals for the landscape committee and the boards to take a look at, and then you guys can make a decision on how you want to go forward then.
Okay, thank you. Anybody from the audience, questions for Mr. Gibson? So come up.
we can't hear you from there.
We need the people at home to be able to hear you.
Does this walk up count as part of the 5 minutes?
Yeah, that counts for 3 minutes.
The one zone or the 1 foot zone, some of our sides of our houses do not have the overhang. So what happens as far as is that part
That's
of those
the 1 foot minimum.
1 foot minimum, whether there's an overhang or not an overhang?
Correct.
Okay.
That was quick. Now it'll take him longer to go back than it was to ask his question. All right, anybody else? Director Wyman, thank you very much for the update. Appreciate it. We now move on to new business under 11B, entertain a motion. We're going to take each of these candidates one at a time. So the first one is I'd like to get a motion to approve Norman Allen, please.
I make a motion to approve Norman Allen.
A second.
Second.
Director Johnson seconds. All right. Since this is by acclamation, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, I see Craig Wayne is voting aye. And you? Donna votes yes, all right. Peggy, she voted?
Yes.
Okay, so that's unanimous. Welcome Norman Allen, come October, that is. All right, next up is Howard Fox. Can I get a motion to approve Howard Fox?
I'll make a motion to approve.
And I see Director
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hopkins is a second. I'll take him as a second, since I heard him, saw you. All right?
Reza and then Jim.
What?
Reza and then Jim.
Reza and Jim. Correct. Okay? All right, again, please, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions?
Sure, I abstain.
Director Fox abstains on his own vote. Thank you, sir. So otherwise, it's unanimous. Okay? All right. Next one up is James Jim Hopkins. Can I get a motion? Director Fox, is that a motion?
Yes, it is.
All right.
Second.
Director, Peggy seconds?
second.
Okay. All right, Peggy seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition, any abstentions? Director Hopkins abstains, so welcome back, Director Hopkins. And I meant to say welcome back, Director Fox. And lastly, but not least, is Donna Rain Sostak. Can I get a motion? Director
move.
Hopkins moves. Peggy,
Second.
I'll take you as a second, okay?
Okay.
All right. All those.
And I would like to abstain.
And Director Rain Sostak abstains. The rest of the board, all those in favor?
Aye.
Rest is unanimous. So welcome back, Donna Rain Sostak. Now we move on to C. Entertain a motion to discuss and consider proceeding with a Meet the Candidates event. I know that United is doing this. Do we feel it's necessary to also have a Meet the Candidates? Typically, Meet the Candidates means they come in here in the boardroom. The four candidates sit on one side, and they get quizzed by members of the board, and they get to have an opening statement, a closing statement, typical as if it was running as a regular election. Is that something we'd like to also have happen?
For the purpose of getting the public to understand who the candidates are, although some of them are already on the board and they're known, but we still have someone that is not known by the public, I would suggest that we do that in order to get the public familiarized with all of our candidates and their views.
So are you making a motion
I'm making a motion to do that unless
to do a
somebody...
Meet the Candidates, normal Meet the Candidates? Is there a second for that motion?
I'll second it.
Peggy seconds. All right, further discussion? Hearing none, we're going to vote, correct? And I typically don't vote.
Craig is voting yes. Peggy and Donna? Donna votes
Yes.
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 Peggy's yes.
All right, it's 6 yeses, 1 no, no abstentions. We will have a Meet the Candidate. The date is already set, correct? Is it August 11th, or if I remember correctly? And it'll be here in the
Yes.
boardroom?
It is Friday, August 14th at 10:30 a.m. here in the boardroom.
Friday, August 14th, 10:30 here in the boardroom. Okay.
It'll
thank-
be televised as well.
It'll be televised, okay.
Is there any possibility of,
Wait,
10:30.
Director Johnson, go ahead.
is there any possibility of maybe changing the format since we've already put them on the board? Instead of doing Q&A,
It's just a matter of meeting and,
Yeah.
meet and greet type of thing
rather
for the
than going through
members
the,
outside to...
questions, maybe have them make a presentation or, I don't know.
All right, we
talk
can-
about the format.
We can talk about that, but okay. We'll do that on August 14th at 10:30 here in the boardroom. All righty. 11D, entertain a motion to approve a supplemental appropriation for dry rock repair and replacement. This comes to us from the M&C Committee, and the dollar amount is $600,000 to come from reserve. We've already allocated, and currently they've used almost $1 million at this point. And I'm sorry to say that at the M&C meeting where this was discussed and recommended to the board, they suggest that they may be coming back before the end of the year for another supplemental allocation related to this. So in all likelihood, it's going to wind up being double what our original expectation, not necessarily expectation, but what we originally allocated. Okay, so
May I say something about that?
you want to,
Yeah, it is understandable. Our structure getting older and older. And when we have standards, practice of identifying buildings that need the, dry rot, work, then we come across emergency one, that we get calls and we inspect the building and the buildings is really in a bad shape that need work, and there is nothing we can do about that because these are old buildings and these things happens. Although we try to identify them as, the best we can and put them under routine maintenance, but, we identify some of them that haven't been thought about during the painting program. We come across some of those. Those are regular painting, but after that, we get calls from members that there are units that have, these kind of issues. And unfortunately, this is going to come up, and as the buildings get older and older, we have to deal with this issue, and maybe for future budgeting, we have that in mind, that we might need more money to maintain these buildings. And these are not fault of anybody, it's just old buildings.
okay, anybody else at the moment? Director Hopkins.
And just to add to what Director Karimi mentioned, is that the staff did recommend a higher amount last year, and in order to make sure that we were within budget, the board decided that they needed to pull back on that at the time. So staff did recommend a higher budget last year.
That's correct.
I just wanted to make sure that we understand that.
Okay. I was not suggesting that we don't support this. I supported it when it was brought forward on the M&C. I'm just want to make everybody aware that this is an ongoing issue, and even though we approve this $600,000 today, we're most likely going to hear from them again before the end of the year for another supplement, or actually the beginning of next year is possible. All right, any other discussion, or can I get a motion to put this on the floor?
I'll make a motion.
Can we have Director Johnson read the resolution, please?
Oh, you're going to make Director Johnson to read that?
Sure. Okay. D. Resolution 0326XX, supplemental appropriation for dry rot repair. Whereas the 2026 third business plan includes an allocation of $968,000 for outside vendor services for building structures dry rot repairs. And whereas the dry rot budget allocation will be exhausted on buildings, carports, manors, and laundry rooms currently under repair. And whereas staff has identified additional buildings in need of dry rot repair work. And whereas on July 6, 2026, the Maintenance and Construction Committee voted unanimously to recommend the board approve a supplemental appropriation to continue necessary structural dry rot repairs and address current workload demands before the 2026 weather season. Now therefore be it resolved on July 21, 2026, the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby authorize a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $600,000 to be funded from the Reserve Fund for Building Structures Dry Rot Repairs. And resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution.
Can I get somebody to move that?
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right, Director Creamy moves. Can I get a second?
Second.
Director Johnson seconds. Is there any further discussion on this issue? Hearing none, let's go ahead. Your voting is in front of you. And Michaela, if you would check with our 3 folks online.
Okay, Craig is voting yes.
Yes.
Okay, Peggy's yes. And Donna?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, we have 7 yeses, no noes, 0 abstentions. Motion is approved, $600,000. Bye, gentlemen. Okay. Next up is item 11E. This is to go on 28-day notification. Just for clarification, do we need to read each resolution? I'm seeing one head shake no and another head kind of shake yes.
It's ultimately up to the board.
Right, I think we'll read the resolutions when we're actually going to formally approve them. We'll just actually talk about what's included in the issue. All right? Save our secretary from having to read all of that. All right, so this is to entertain a motion to approve the enactment of Standard 05 satellite dishes. This is July initial notification, 28 days. What this deals with is very simply, we are required by law to allow the installation of satellite dishes, and we can set some guidelines for how they can be installed. Even though so much has moved to streaming and satellite dishes, we don't really get very many requests, if any. We still have to allow them and have a policy. And what we're doing with this policy is actually combining policies so that we have a single policy rather than one for 1-story buildings, 2-story buildings, 3-story buildings. We now have a single policy, and that's really what this does. Director Grimshaw, is that anything else that you want to add related to that? Thank you, sir. All right, so we'll put that on 28-day notice. Are there any comments or thoughts?
There's a member comment that they sent in via email, if I can read that.
Please do.
Okay, perfect. This is from Jay Lessie. They stated, Dear Board, I am Jay Lessie, a third mutual member concerned about the aesthetics of our HOA. I'm speaking on item 11E today. If the law requires you to allow members to install satellite dishes, please do whatever you can to discourage these dishes, especially since Ting will meet every TV viewer's need to gorge themselves with channels. Limit the placement of the dishes as much as possible to hide them from view. They are eyesores. Between the exposed AC condensers, solar panels, these satellite dishes, and other paraphernalia, this place is losing its architecture and looking junky. Thank you. And that is all.
Okay, thank you. All right. Anybody else? Comments?
That front door.
What? What was that?
I think someone just unmuted themselves on Zoom.
Oh, okay. All right. So can I get a motion to put this on 28 days, please?
I'll make a motion to put them on 28
Director
days.
Creamy moves. I see Director Hopkins seconds. Thank you. All right. All those in favor of putting it on 28 days, please vote.
Okay, I see Craig and Donna voting for,
Yes.
and Peggy. Thank you.
Okay, once again, it have 7 yeses. Motion is approved for 28 days. We now move on to item 11F. Entertain a motion to approve the revised damage restoration policy. This also goes on 28-day notification. The revised damage restoration policy, I see that their spokesman is here. What we will talk about is very simply that we are updating this policy to clarify all sorts of issues where there was some confusion, so that the policy now is much clearer in terms of what the owner responsibility is, what the steps are in the process once damage is identified, and what the mutual is responsible for. Okay? Ms. Chavarria, do you have anything you want to add regarding the policy?
Good morning, Mr. President and esteemed members of the board. I think you summarized it very well. There's nothing changing with the policy. It is just being explained in a way that would make it more clear to staff, board members, and residents alike, as well as insurance companies and other people who need the policy in order to understand responsibility.
Okay, thank you. All right. Can I get a motion to put this on 28-day notice, please?
I'll move.
Johnson moves. Can I get a second?
Second.
I see Karimi seconds. You were a little slow, Director Fox.
That's okay.
All right, all right. Can we please,
Sugar.
any other discussion from board members? Hearing none, can we go ahead and vote, please?
Okay, I see Donna, your hand is raised for Peggy and
Yes.
Craig. Okay, Peggy's yes. Craig?
Did we lose Craig?
He's on Zoom, but he's muted. Craig, do you want to raise your hand if you're for? If he doesn't respond, I'll just mark him as absent for this
Okay,
vote.
but the motion still passes with
Yes.
6 yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Veria. We'll see you on Thursday. All right, moving along, we are now up to 11G, entertain a motion to approve the revised financial qualification policy. This also is designed to go on 28-day notification. We have Mr. Spies here to address this issue, and I will let you summarize it instead of me.
Good morning, directors. So all we're doing with this is just putting clarification language into the policy of practices we've been doing for several years. Lately, we've been getting a lot of requests from escrow and realtors when we push back and we say, they're asking us, where does it say that? So we're putting it in black and white. So going forward, there'll be no more questions. So.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Spies? Hearing none, can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Director Johnson seconds. All right. Any other discussion? Any other questions?
No, I think this is really helpful because I see the same thing. Everybody asks so many questions, don't understand multiple units, and that puts you in the spot all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. Hearing no other additional questions or comments, let's go ahead and vote, please.
Okay, Donna stated yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Peggy and Craig, can I get your votes?
Yes.
Okay, Peggy's yes.
Craig is still not available?
Yeah, he's still on Zoom, but he's muted, and I don't see anything,
Okay.
so I'm going to mark him as absent for this one
All
as well.
righty. So the vote is 6 yes, motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Spies.
Great. Thank you, Director.
Have a nice day. All right, now we move to item 11H. Entertain a motion to rescind the herbicide spray cessation policy. This goes on 28-day notification. Director Wyman, do you want to address this at all? No, sir? Okay, what this policy is designed to do is to put a halt to the current herbicide policy. However, it will grandfather in all people who are currently under the policy, and through the process of attrition over time, return all the common area landscaping responsibilities to the landscaping division. Okay? All right, are there any questions or comments on this? Hearing none, can I get a motion, please? I see Director Johnson moves. Can I get a second?
Second.
Who is this? That was Peggy?
Peggy.
Peggy seconds. Thank you, Peggy. All right. Any other discussion, comments? Hearing none, could we please vote?
Okay, I see Craig's voting yes.
Yes.
Donna voted yes via chat, and Peggy's yes.
All right, voting's complete, and the motion is approved for 28-day notification with 7 yeses, no noes, and no abstentions. Thank you, Director Wyman. We now move on to committee reports. Okay? Report of the Finance Committee, Director Fox.
Okay, I think we've got something up on the screen coming shortly. There we go.
So you guys are flying too fast with this.
Yeah. So speedy.
Okay. This is the treasurer's report for Third Laguna Hills Mutual for today, July 21, 2026. And this is the report through the end of May 31, 2026. Slide 1 shows us the total revenue for Third was $21.6 million compared with expenses of $18.7 million, resulting in a net revenue to date of just under $3 million. If we move to slide 2, there we go. Okay, this table takes the full income statement and compares those results to budget. We can see that Third ended the period better than budget by $2.9 million when combining both operating and reserve revenues and expenses. And move on to slide 3. Okay, slide 3 shows the most significant variances to budget, and they were attributable to outside services of approximately $2 million. And this is favorable variance primarily in landscape due to timing of prior to paint landscape program. Additionally, the timing of various M&C reserve projects, including PVC cool roof replacement and copper piping replacement, furthered the variance. Roof replacement has been delayed due to project scheduling delays, while copper piping replacement is scheduled for later in the year. And then we've got employee compensation and related, favorable by $484,000, and this results primarily in landscape and M&C due to open positions. Impacted areas include grounds maintenance, irrigation, and damage restoration. Recruitment is in progress to fill the open positions. Third, we've got materials and supplies, and then we have investment income as small positive variances. The materials and supplies is due to timing of materials used for M&C. The investment income is we have slightly higher than anticipated returns on our treasury bills. And our two negatives are utilities and telephone and other operating expenses. Utilities and telephone are due to higher water usage and trash rates than anticipated. And the other is unfavorable variance due to higher estimated income tax payments than anticipated. If we move to slide 4. Okay, this pie chart presents our non-assessment revenues earned to date of $1.6 million, and it shows by category, starting with our largest revenue generating categories of investment income, chargeable services, so on and so forth. And then we move on to slide 5. And slide 5, this pie chart shows our total expenses to date of $18.7 million by category, starting with the largest categories of employee compensation and related, followed by outside services, utilities, insurance, and several and other sundry items. And slide 6. Okay, we're always keeping an eye on the operating portion of our financial results, and the operating fund shows a surplus of $889,000 through May 31. This table shows how much of our revenue went into operations, with $13.2 million coming in from assessments and $1.1 million from non-assessment revenues. This is compared to the operating expenditures of $13.4 million, not including depreciation, arriving at the $889,000 net surplus to date. And we go to slide 7. And slide 7, the non-operating fund balances on May 31, 2026 totaled $36.9 million. In 2026, contributions, interest, and fund transfers totaled $7.4 million. Expenditures were $5.3, so the non-operating fund balances increased by $2.1 million for the 5 months ended. If we go to slide 8, we are looking at the non-operating fund balances, the comparison of the non-operating fund balances to historical fund balances for the past 5 years on this chart. Let's see, illustrating 2026, reaching a high of $36.9 million. Third, Laguna Hills Mutual has been committed to supporting reserve requirements and having more contingency funds for unexpected events. And finally, slide number 9. Okay, this slide shows resale history from 2024 to 2026 through May 31, 2026. Third resales totaled 113, which is 37 less resales than the prior year for the same time period. The average year-to-date resale price for Third Mutual was $756,000, which is $146,000 more than the prior year for the same time period. And that's all I've got for today.
Okay, you want to announce the next meeting?
Well, I guess I could. let's see.
August
the next
4th.
meeting,
Next meeting is August 4th at 1:30 here.
it
in the boardroom.
is?
Yes.
Okay. I should also mention that we're also, the process on the budget for next year continues, and version 2 has come out. And we've been tweaking numbers a little bit here and there, but the final numbers should be out, next month?
Yes, sir.
I believe.
Yes, sir.
And we should know where we stand by then.
Okay, thank you. Next up is the Architectural Control and Standards Committee.
Mr.
This
Chair?
committee, oh, I'm sorry.
No question.
Director, I apologize.
Sorry.
Director Hopkins, you have a question?
Just a quick question. I know we're way ahead and we're favorable on our balances, both operating and reserve. And yet we just approved a $600,000 increase on a supplemental, which I totally agree with for that specific issue. But where are we so far ahead that we're $600,000 behind in another area of spending?
Okay, I can answer that. It's all a matter of timing. I mean, by the end of the year, if everything works out, we're going to be right at break even compared to the budget, or we may be a few dollars behind based on these supplemental things we've been adding occasionally. So the answer to your question is it's all timing. It looks good today, and let's hang our hat on that.
That answer your question, Mr. Hopkins? Okay.
My question.
Any other question? Director Johnson?
I just wonder why this is only through May, when it's mid-July.
We'll take it under advisement.
Okay.
Anybody else want to harass Director Fox?
Is this count as my meet the candidates?
No.
Darn.
All right, next up is the Architectural Control. This committee met, and a couple of things that we talked about and addressed. One was what we call the resale disclosure responsibility. This is important if you have any intent on selling your manor. We are going to include additional highlighted statement about the need for a new license agreement. If you currently have a license agreement for some kind of alteration that would required it, that license agreement expires when you sell your unit. The license agreement only runs with the individual as long as they own the unit. So if a new purchaser is going to buy your unit, they have to decide whether or not they want to accept that alteration that requires a license agreement. If they are willing to accept that alteration, then they have to sign a new license agreement so that it runs with the time they own the unit. If the new owner or purchaser decides that they don't want to sign a license agreement, therefore don't want that alteration, then it's a matter of decision by the seller of removing that or negotiating with the new purchaser in some regard. Okay? But that's important for everybody to know, that the license agreements that we sign and that you sign as a member are only good for the length of time that you own the unit. The second thing we talked about was the satellite dishes, which we put on 28-day notice. And we also had a lot of discussion about solar panels, and we are in the process of still working to revise that and meet some of the federal guidelines that we have, and also implementation here in the village. But the folks in Manor Alterations have been working very assiduously with us in this regard, and we look forward to hopefully bringing that to you at the August meeting. Next meeting of the ACSC committee is scheduled for Monday, August 10th at 9:30 here in the boardroom. Next up is Maintenance and Construction Committee, Director Karimi.
Thank you, Mr. President. Maintenance and Construction Committee met on Monday, July 6th at 1:30 p.m. in this boardroom. We had a report from the Maintenance and Construction of the projects, and there was a couple of items on the agenda that we looked at. There was one with parking requests from units 3434 and 3435 on Bahia Blanca West. That was discussed. That issue was taking some of the grass area and making it a parking space in front of those units. The discussion regarding that issue was done, and the committee informed the members that the request would be investigated and the parking of vehicles on the adjustment grass is not allowed. So they cannot keep parking on the grass there until we decide what we're going to do with that area, if we want to make it a parking space or not. The other issue was the supplemental appropriation for dry rot, which we voted on and was approved. And another item was the Garden Villa building restroom renovation, which was decided that we are not going to allocate any money for it. And if in the future any request comes through, we're going to deal individually with the request. That was pretty much just our meeting, and our next meeting is Monday, August 3rd at 1:30 p.m. here in the boardroom. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Creamy. Next up is supposed to be the report of the Landscape Committee by Director Parsons. He's not here. Is there someone else who is prepared to give that? Director Rain Sosak.
Yes, I could do that. The Landscaping Committee, and by the way, it meets the first Thursday of every month. So people would like to have you note that. So we'd love to have your participation in the audience at those meetings. And we last met on July 2nd. Again, because of the emphasis in Zone 0 on Third Mutual, a good portion of the meeting was spent here getting updates, and those are constantly being updated. And we will next meet on August 6th at 9:30 here in the board.
Thank you very much. Next up is the report of the Resident Policy and Compliance Committee. This committee met on June 23rd, and 3 different items were considered. All of them were recommended to the full board, and all three of those items, the damage restoration policy, the revision to the financial qualification policy, and the herbicide issue, were all put on 28-day notice by the board earlier in this meeting. The next meeting of the Resident Policy and Compliance Committee will be July 29th at 9:30 here in the boardroom. Next up is report of the Garden Villa Recreation Room Committee, and I'm going to assume that Director Hopkins, since you chaired that meeting, you'll do the report?
Yes, I'll report. The last meeting was at July 15th. We discussed the rec room budget, talked about the DirecTV installation, and also various maintenance, regular maintenance projects and the status of that. One of the issues that, not issues, but one of the topics that came up was from the audience was replacing the carpet in one of the rooms. That was actually on schedule to be replaced this year. All the activities were on target, and we were roughly not behind, but there was just some maintenance to go for the rest of the year that had not been accounted for. Stuart, do you have anything to add to that? Okay. All right. The next meeting is October 14th, 2026 at 1:30 in the boardroom and as a virtual meeting.
Thank you very much. We now move to GRF committee highlights. First up is the Community Activities Committee, Director Fox.
That would be me. Thank you, Mr. President. Okay, the last meeting of the Community Activities Committee was on Thursday, July 9th, here in the boardroom. And let's see, what did we talk about? Nothing of significance, to be honest. One of the proposals brought up was a proposal to redo the entire area in front of Clubhouse 2 and make it like a central plaza. And there was some spirited discussion about that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it went nowhere.
Pretty much.
Yeah, okay. Then there was discussion about the photo studio wants to put in like a window, like a doctor's office window, and I think that went nowhere, if I recall. Okay, just so I'm clear, we talked about speed bumps outside the pickleball area because, you know, it's an accident waiting to happen, the way people drive crazy around here, and I think that went nowhere.
That went somewhere.
It did go somewhere?
Yeah, they approved it.
Oh, well, how do you do? Okay. Let's see, what else can I think of here? There was a discussion about
Clubhouse 4 art presentation.
Oh, that was a great one. Oh, yeah, thank you. Thank you, Director Karimi. Yeah, we talked about various members or people affiliated with the Clubhouse 4 art programs want to put their creations or some of their creations out, I think presumably in front of Clubhouse 4 was the primary discussion.
Or on the wall.
Or on the wall or somewhere in and around there. And the discussion followed from there as to whether there should be some kind of committee formed to decide on just what constitutes appropriate art, and should there be a common theme throughout the village, and should it expand farther than just like the little area in front of Clubhouse 4. And I think, where did we go with that after the discussion?
Well, they're looking at forming that group.
Forming a advisory committee.
Advisory committee, yes.
Yeah, so that that's up in the air, is the best I can say. There's the donations, possible donations of 3D printing and what space will be used to put that'll meet all the necessary requirements of ventilation and whatever else. And that was scaled back at our discussion there. And I think we're still talking about it.
Okay, those are for 3D printers.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Let me see. Anything else? I think that's it, aside from the fact that the next meeting is going to be, if I'm not mistaken, August 13th of 2026 here in the boardroom.
At 1:30. Thank you.
At
Moving
1:30.
on, we now have the next report from Director Fox, traffic hearings.
Traffic hearings.
No report?
No report?
Nothing of note to discuss.
Thank you. Moving on, disaster preparedness, Director Rain Shostak.
Yes. Disaster preparedness has been functioning more as a task force up until this time, but there are new energies moving forward. First, we have a very close relationship now with the city of Laguna Woods, and all of our plans, both for the village and the city, are coordinated at this point. And in addition, we're excited that the American Red Cross has also come on board. And in keeping with that, the timing of today's meeting is perfect because tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, between 9 and 11:30, there will be a special meeting over at Clubhouse 7 in the main lounge for anyone who is a past or new volunteer to join in the disaster preparedness project, either acting as we've talked about. Is it a block captain, whatever the name of the people who are going to be looking out for their neighbors in a select area keeps changing. But we want you to know that this presentation will be done tomorrow by the American Red Cross. And it's to have people learn steps to keep safe during a disaster and what to expect during the recovery process. All of that will be shared with the village for those who are not part of that project and who are not one of the volunteers. It'll be shared at our next meeting on July 28th, which is actually next week at 9:30 here in the boardroom.
Thank you very much. Next up is the GRF Maintenance and Construction Committee, Director Hopkins.
Yes, we reported on the June 10th meeting last meeting, and the next meeting, it meets every 2 months. The next meeting is August 12th at 9:30 a.m. in the boardroom.
And next up, GRF Finance Committee, Director Fox.
Well, we last met on
June 17th.
June 17th, so that was prior to the last board meeting. So there's really nothing to report. Next meeting is August 19th at 1:30 here in the boardroom.
Thank you very much. Next up is the GRF Mobility and Vehicle Committee, and we go back to Director Hopkins.
Yeah, the committee last met on May 6th. It's been reported on the results of that meeting. I might add, though, that the new Arbor Route has been a tremendous success. The residents seem to love it. It adds a new dimension to the ability for those who use the bus system to reach additional entertainment as well as shopping. The next meeting is August 5th, 2026 at 1:30 in the boardroom.
Thank you very much, and that sounds like a great option, that new Arbor Route. Thank you. GRF Landscape Committee, Director Rain Shostak.
GRF Landscape Committee meets quarterly, and our last meeting was on May the 13th. And the next meeting, in keeping with that quarterly schedule, will be August 12th. A good part of the meeting in May was discussing Zone 0, although as we saw this morning in the presentation, it is Third Mutual and portions of it that are most affected by Zone 0. And so we do invite you all to come to the next quarterly meeting in August 12th, where we expect to again have more updates.
Thank you very much. Next up is the Information Technology Advisory Committee. We'll go back again to Director Hopkins.
The last meeting was May 29th. The next meeting is August 28th, 2026 at 1:30, and it will be a virtual meeting as well as a closed meeting.
Thank you. Next up, GRF Broadband Committee, Director Karimi.
Thank you, Mr. President. The last meeting was on May 28th, which was reported in June. And the next meeting is scheduled for August 24th at 9:30 a.m. in the boardroom.
Thank you. Next up, GRF Security and Community Access Committee, Director Moore.
Thank you. The last meeting was on June 24th, and there was a great deal of discussion about the security statistics and how they reflect in each area. We asked that the Third Mutual be separated out so we knew what was exactly in our area. There was also a great deal of discussion on the disaster preparedness. Our next meeting will be on the August 26th, and everyone is invited. Thank you.
That'll also be 1:30 here in the boardroom. Thank you. Next up, GRF Energy Committee. We're going back to Director Rain Shostak.
Yes. And the Energy Committee last met on June 29th. Our next meeting will be August the 17th at 9:30 here in the boardroom. And the focus of discussion has primarily been on solar. There's a consensus, or appears to be, that it would be a very good thing for us to get it at the GRL level for some of our other facilities. And the question is, there's some wonderful financial opportunities. There are some reimbursements and money that's available as rebates. The problem is, and that's really what's being discussed right now, is weighing how much is the rebate, how much is the project going to cost, how much do we actually do so that it's a viable project. And so we will be continuing that discussion. Decision will have to be made very soon, because any project that is voted on, if it is done and intends to receive the money, would have to be completed by December 31st of next year. So we would have to get moving on that, but we understand that our folks here at VMS are prepared to move forward if we make that decision, and so we'll just keep you posted.
Thank you. Your next meeting is August 17th.
Yes.
At 9:30 in the boardroom.
Correct.
Thank you. Next up, Strategic Land Use Ad Hoc Committee, Director Johnson.
Yes, the last meeting was held June 25th, 2026. Next meeting is July 23rd at 1:30 p.m. in the boardroom. It's a very interesting meeting. And I'm not sure how far we're going to get, because we're on our third meeting and we still haven't got a mission statement that everyone agrees to. So it's a big project. I have some concerns long-term. But you're all invited to come and throw in your 2 cents to the next
meeting is July 23rd.
Yes.
At 1:30 in the boardroom. Thank you. And the last committee report, Water Conservation Committee. And we go back to you, Director Rain Shostak.
And I'm very, very excited to report that the first official meeting of the community-wide Water Conservation Committee will be next week on July the 30th at 2 p.m. right here in the boardroom. That's next Thursday, a week from Thursday. And this committee has moved, for those of you who've been paying attention, from Third Mutual to a community-wide committee. And it's really, really critical. Not only do we have to pay by way of El Toro Water District, but have to pay for every single drop of potable water has to be purchased. Not only do we have to do that, but we have a second problem, which is we don't each receive a water bill. It's part of our monthly assessment, and therefore it's, out of sight, out of mind. So part of the function of this committee is to bring that to the forefront and everybody participate and be very conscious of water conservation. So we invite anybody who's listening, and even if you aren't, if you hear it later on TV6, to come to our meeting next Thursday at 2 p.m. This is now, in order to be community-wide as it is, it falls under GRF, but will be co-chaired by Third Mutual and United. So we look forward to seeing you then. That concludes the report.
Thank you very much. Now we move to future agenda items. We have obviously all the things that are on 28-day notice that are future agenda items will come up next month. Is there anything else that anybody feels the need to add at this point? Hearing none, we'll move to director comments. We'll start with the folks online first. And I see Peggy Moore, so we'll go to you, Peggy.
I have no comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I see Director Rain Shostak. A comment?
No comment. Really good meeting. Thank you.
Does Director Wayne have any comments? All right, his hand is up. Do you have a comment, Director Wayne? All right, we'll move on. We'll go to Director Hopkins.
No comment?
We'll go to Director Creamy.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that I say it every time. that we really need our member participation to tell us what is going right and what's going wrong so we can focus on things and do a better job for our community. We need your help. Please participate and help us to get things better around here. Thank you.
Director Johnson.
My comment would be, I really enjoyed Kurt's presentation and the video, and I'd like to see that publicized somehow so that the membership see it, because when they understand why we're doing what we're doing, we'll have a lot less complaints and more input maybe. And I thought that video was excellent.
Thank you. Director Fox.
No comments.
Will now.
No comment.
You're a gentleman and a scholar.
Well, I'm not sure, but thank you. On that note, it's 11:01, and we will recess, and we will reconvene in the closed meeting.
11:45.
11:45. Thank you. Stuart, you're the last man standing. Look.
Before that, last man said.
You survived the meeting. Well, that's what I'm asking. I don't know. Either we're doing everything right or we're doing everything wrong.
I was trying to get.